Hi, I'm Chuck with IWS Motor Coaches. Today is a real exciting day for us. Today's the day we get to debut our very first show hauler to everybody out there who's been watching our videos, and I'm real excited to take you on an inside look of this thing. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, here we are inside of this beautiful show hauler RV. We're so excited to bring show hauler and IWS jointly together to the market. It's something that we feel is a phenomenal fit with our organization as well as with our customer base. One of the things that show hauler does so well is their custom work. Whether you want to order an exotic leather like we have here on the sofa and the dinette, or you want to go with a custom stain, or in this coach we've gone with full thickness granite countertops, or if you want quartz countertops or Corian countertops or wood countertops, or you have some sort of an exotic marble floor that you want, show hauler is willing to try to accommodate you to the absolute best of their abilities. As you can see in this motorhome, we really wanted to set the tone with our first in-stock show hauler. We really wanted our customers to see what's capable between our design crew in-house and show hauler when we work together. So the mission on this motorhome was to create our Epic Series line of show haulers. And being from the Northwest and growing up in a ranching community, I wanted to build a cabin type feel in a motorhome, and not just any cabin. We kind of wanted to imagine if you were in a beautiful lodge up in Yellowstone, Montana, or a very high-end custom built log home. That's kind of the feel we wanted to bring to this, and I think it just worked out beautiful. And as we walk around the motorhome, you're going to see some of the colors that we chose. We chose a lighter cherry wood on the cabinets, and we went with a smooth cabinet door with a beveled edge, which is kind of a new look for us. I think it really brings in that real elegant look to the cabinetry. We also went with, as I said earlier, this is actually a full width quartz countertop. This isn't a cheesy laminate. This is the real deal in this, and the reason we can do that is because of the chassis that we have underneath it. This is built on a Freightliner Cascadia with 600 horsepower, but it has a gross combined weight rating of 80,000 pounds, meaning if you put this motorhome on a scale with a trailer, it could weigh up to 80,000 pounds. So we have an incredible platform underneath this to be able to build on, and weight doesn't become such a factor when we're designing. We can actually use real hardwoods. Just everything is legitimate in here. It's real tile floors in it, and we'll talk more about that as we move around the coach. So normally I start down in the stairwell, but we're going to start today right up here, and I want to talk just a little bit about some of the cabinetry things that we did with show hauler. So one of the things our customers asked for is more storage space. So what we did is we had a built-in cutting board done right here, so you can use it as a cutting board or just an extension to increase your countertop space. As you can see, it's solid wood. The drawers in this are all dovetail construction. They use full-length soft close drawers, slides on them. Here you can see there's a real big cupboard in here that you could store pots and pans. Lots of storage here for your silverware and whatnot. Just beautifully well constructed. I'm just so thrilled with this. It's a little bit hard to see on the camera, but in this drawer we did a slide out trash can, and I think that's something that's really missed on most motorhomes. They don't put a spot, and that's something that's right at the top of our design list. Let's give you a place to keep the garbage out of the way. As we go around through it, you can also see there's a spot here for sponges and stuff like that. This is underneath the cabinet sink. You can see there's a nice storage. They also put a little towel hanger here, so you can have your little dish towel hanging right there. It's very well thought out. As we go back across the top, there's incredible storage up here inside of these cabinets. As we open up the door, you can see how thick they are. We're using a nice recessed hinge on it. But I also want to point out, if you can see in here, I'll try to let a little more light in, but in the back here, the wall padding is continued into the back of the cabinets. And that does a lot of things for you. Number one, it just enhances the look of it, but it helps to reduce the heat as the sun's baking on the side of the motorhome. On this particular motorhome, we upgraded the insulation as well. Keeps the food and stuff cooler, keeps the sound down, and it also helps the dishes, for if they bump up against the wall, they're not against wood, they're up against the soft padding in here. So it's just spectacular. As you can see, we have a full tile backsplash. We asked them to take it all the way to the top and then continue it up here around the cook stove, so it's easy to clean off. This was one of Show Hauler's suggestion is let's make a butcher block for the sink cover on it. So you can set that here, have a nice butcher block, and we did a beautiful hammer tone copper sink in here that it's just so elegant, and it ties very well with the wood. We did a full residential faucet here on it. We went with the brushed nickel to kind of just a little bit of an accent to the copper and the more of the, you know, the kind of an earth tone in here. I don't even really think it's an earth tone. I think it's more of a, as I said, that rich cabin feel. There's just so much to talk about on this motorhome. There's another little storage compartment right here. We have a 110 outlet. We thought this might be a good spot to, you know, have a coffee pot. We got a nice outlet right here for where you can use your toaster. The butcher block, as I mentioned earlier, is a nice piece. And here around the sink, you can really see the thickness of the granite countertop. It's just, the colors, you just need to see it in person, and I really hope it translates well in this video. Now as we move around the coach, you can see that we've had a double door fridge freezer combination installed here in the back. It's very accessible. Has a nice slide out freezer. Also has a built-in ice maker over here. Now as we move over to this side of the coach, you can see we did a full length beveled mirror here with engraving in it, and I think it really adds to just open up the coach, and I think it works very well with it. Now as we move over here into the dinette, you'll see there's two full drawers underneath both sides of them, and they're lockable right here. But I hope the detail really comes out. We had a kind of a saddle stitch done on the leather, the ultra leather, and it just has that really nice, beautiful worn look like you'd see in an old vintage saddle, and it's something that I'm quite proud to offer. Here's your light controls right here, so you can turn lights on and off. You can also control your wall sconce lights from here. But as I sit down in here, as I'd mentioned earlier, as most of you can see, I'm around 230, 240 pounds, and I'm 6 foot tall, and I just fit very well at this countertop. As you can see from the granite how thick it is, that this is the real McCoy. This is not, you know, a motorhome where we throttled back on the looks or the quality of it. This is as good as we can make it. On this motorhome, we did something a little different, and we opted to go with 3 windows, and we also decided to vent them, so you can just open up the windows right here, and you have control of the vents on it. But we also went ahead and installed automatic drawer slide or power window shades. So as you can see right here, with one touch of the button, we can close all of the window shades at once. You can also control, if you just want 1 or 2 to be open, you just push the button. And we haven't mounted it yet, but you know, that would be up to you where we decide to mount it. I also want to draw your attention to the nice curved back in here. Anybody that's been watching our videos knows that That's something we try to bring in about every motorhome we build, is this curved back, because it allows you to kind of set in here and be very comfortable. You can also see that show hauler is using a little bit wider dinette, so it's a little more comfortable for 4 adults to sit here at the counter if you want to play cards or something at night. Now as I get up and move around here to the sofa, it's a little hard right now to describe, but as you can see back here, there's a nice ledge back here that you can store stuff on. And we're gonna go ahead and fold the sofa out so that you can see that it makes into a bed. And I also want to point out the real nice storage area here behind the bed once the bed is made out. Just a fantastic complement of furniture for this coach. As you can see, there's lots of storage overhead as we go across the top. There's also overhead reading lights everywhere, extra USB outlets and a 110 so you can stay connected. We also had a nice drink holder put there, and then show hauler also thought it would be a nice touch to put a nice little magazine rack right there. I think it all just ties in very well. As you can see, we went for more of a molded window top without fabric on the valances. We think that all would look just really brought out that cabin feel in this coach. Now I'm going to go ahead and move back over to the entryway and make sure we cover that. Well, now that I'm back into the stairwell on this coach, you can see that it's really wide, and one of the things that really, a feature that we really liked about show hauler is that we could do a handicap accessible entrance. They offer several different styles of lifts to get you in and out of the coach, and that starts with having this real nice wide stairwell. You'll also notice that on each side of me there's a double handle grip, and it's very sizable and it's very stout. There's nothing cheap or chintzy about it. Kind of what's neat about this coach is as you walk into it, you can open it up and we have all of the controls. So we did the sea level tank controls here. So there's 2 different waste tanks on this coach, and what's really neat is it shows you in percentage exactly how much of the tank you can use. It's not LED lights that gives you a range. This is going to tell you exactly how much fresh water, how much gray, and how much black. And it also tells you the battery voltage, as well as here on the second tank, fresh and black, and it gets you about as accurate as you can get on how much is in it. The next switch down are the tank heaters on this coach. We designed this coach to be a 4-season coach, so you can use it in the winter. Here's the main battery disconnect, so if you're walking out of the coach and you want to disconnect the batteries. You have the generator start button right here. This is the awning controller. It's also remote control, but this is a manual in the event that you lose your remote control. And when you look at the outside video, you see this coach has 2 beautiful roof-mounted awnings that come out on the passenger side of this and that cover basically the full length of this 45-foot motorhome. And then when you get down here, you'll see we have the compartment lights on it, and this is the auto lock on the stairwell. Normally when you open and close the door, the step goes in and out. You can hit this bypass and it'll lock the step out. So that pretty much sums that up. They did a nice little quartz topper right here where you can set your keys when you come in. And again, look at the thickness of this. It's just beautiful. As we move up in here, these are your light controls, so it's very simple and very intuitive to just turn the lights on, turn them on and off from right here. You can also, we've added upgraded exterior lights and patio lights, and you'll see more of that when we do the outside tour. Right here is the ceiling fan for the front. This is the temperature control for the heating and cooling is all located right here. Real nice, smooth, padded walls on it. And then we have a coat hook here over the top of the door. We like to do this so that if you hang your coats up, the water can drip down. Now as we look over the top of the door, the word of the day seems to be storage, storage, storage with our RV customers. And And we really listen, and that was kind of the big focal point on this as well, is to create as much storage as possible. So we challenged show hauler to just put storage everywhere they could on this. And I believe, I haven't went and measured every compartment, but without a doubt, this coach has more storage than any coach we've ever built. As we move around to the top, you'll see on this one, we went with the smoke covers on it. We did ask show hauler to leave plenty of gaps so the heat can get out. And if you can look up, they've installed a real nice air conditioner vent right up here to help keep the components cool. Here's the stereo controller. This coach, we went ahead and pre-installed DirecTV recorders with DVR in the front and the rear of the coach, so you don't have to worry about it. You just need to pay to have them activated. We've done the Winegard Traveler remote, or satellite on the top, and I've mentioned it before, I think it's the best satellite out there. We also installed a Wi-Fi booster. It's the Wi-Fi Ranger Wi-Fi booster with a roof-mounted antenna to help boost the signal on your cell phones. Right here is the speaker control. So what's really neat about this coach is we have the Mito in-cab or in-ceiling speakers with 2 zones. So if you're playing music out here, you can play it throughout the coach. If you want to turn it off in the back of the coach, you just push this button and it turns it off in the back. That's kind of a really nice feature on it. Also want to point out this is all Bluetooth compatible as well. Now as we move around here, we've mounted the TV in the front, but show hauler also mounted it on a slide out mount so that you could bring the TV out where it's a little bit better viewing angle when you're sitting here or sitting at the dinette. It worked out very nice. Excuse me here, let me get it pushed back in. You can also see that we did an overhead compartment here. It's kind of been something here at IWS we've always done or try to do, is install a 110 outlet in here in case you want to charge a satellite phone or anything like that, or hook up a second Xbox or something. We have power already installed here for you. So that pretty much ties up the inside of the coach. The one thing that I didn't talk about was the ceramic tile flooring in there. And in this particular coach, we went ahead and installed the heated flooring in here, which has been working out very well. You can see we went with the Iris French wood collection. And this is a true ceramic tile floor. On this coach, we didn't go with the polish. We went for more of a honed look so that it's a little bit easier to keep clean, and it really kind of toned things down a little bit. And I think the look is just beautiful. I hope we can get a camera shot of how straight the grout lines are in this coach, because it just exudes quality at every level. So the next thing we're going to do is take you on a tour of the front of this Cascadia. Now, a lot of you have watched our videos, but I do want to encourage you to stay with me through this tour, because this coach is very unique in the fact that it's the first Freightliner Cascadia that we've got that has collision avoidance in it. So it has or I guess crash mitigation system in it. So there's quite a few new features in here, from the adaptive cruise control to the blind spot, that I'd like to walk you through as we move up into the front. Well, now we've moved up into the cabin of the coach, and I want to talk a little bit about this. So the first thing is the passenger seat. Now, these seats may look a little bit different, and what we did on this particular coach is we asked show hauler to recover the factory Freightliner seats. And the reason we did that is the factory Freightliner seats have a lot of neat options. So obviously there's 2 armrests on them, and they ratchet up and down. This seat's also can be swiveled around to the back. You can also swivel the driver's seat around if you have extra people, you know, over for the evening and they want to sit here. As you can see, the armrest goes back down. It can also be tilted back. The base of the seat can be tilted up and down, so you have different adjustments here. As I turn the seat, you can also recline the seat right here by turning this knob forward and backwards. It's a little hard to see, but down here you're going to see 5 knobs, and these are air valves, and what these do is adjust lower lumbar, upper lumbar. They'll squeeze on the sides and they'll also inflate here. There's also a neat feature here called back cycle. And when you push this button in, what happens is all them air chambers will air up and go down, so that continually as you're driving, so you can feel it kind of helps keep the blood circulating for those that are on really long distance drives. And then we also have the air up and down air adjustment here. And then on the other side, there's also a shock absorber adjustment to control the amount of rate that the seat goes up and down. And then there's also the seat adjustment here to slide the seat forward and backward. So as you can see, there's a ton of adjustments in the factory Freightliner seat. And I believe, you know, after being around these seats, it's something you're going to see us do more and more, is to bring in this upper end factory seat. This seat was designed by Freightliner for sleeper teams that are going to drive over the road for extended periods of time, and we think there's a lot of benefits in it. Well, now that we're done talking about the seat, we're going to move around here and talk a little bit about some of the key features of this Freightliner Cascadia. All right, so here we are in the driver's seat. We'll start up here. We have an overhead storage console or compartment that's completely lockable. We have a place here for your sunglasses to be stored. You have an overhead reading light, so here's a red light. So it's been proven that at night, if you read by a red light, it doesn't dilate your pupils. And then there's also this one, which is a really bright area light. And then you can close this one, and there's a light here for reading in the driver's seat. And then we have the same thing for the passenger seat. There's a nice storage compartment overhead here. And then over here on the left is where the jack controls are located. Okay, now as we start over here, these are some of the new features that are new on the 2019 model year Freightliners. And as I'd mentioned earlier in the video, this truck has some of the collision avoidance features, and we're real excited to start bringing these into the RV industry, or into the RVs that we sell here at IWS. So the first part of the road safety is the TPMS, which is the tire pressure monitoring system. So it's all wireless remote control. We used to install this aftermarket, but now it's a standard feature on our coaches. On most of our coaches, I want to be clear to say that. And to toggle through this screen is relatively simple. You just turn it on. It's going to take a minute here to boot up. Now, as you can see on tire 1, it's 6 psi above its normal tire pressure. It's at 110 psi and it's at 59 degrees temperature. This tire right here, which is tire 2, which is an outside dual, is at 108 psi. It's at 64 degrees. Tire 3 is at 110 psi, 60 degrees. And we can just continue to toggle through. We can go to the other side of the vehicle and begin. So here's the right front tire. It's at 108 degrees. And then we can just keep moving through them all. So this is a really nice feature to be able to know what your tire pressure is doing. The next gauge that we have right here is an air pressure gauge on your airbag. So it helps you to understand what the load is on the back of the rear suspension. Here's your turbo boost gauge. This is an applications gauge. So as I step on the air brake, it starts to show how much air pressure we're applying to the brakes. So these typically will run at 120 psi of air. So if you're at 60 psi, you know you've used up half of your usable brakes. Here's the trailer brake controller. This you can move up and down. If you're pulling a big stacker trailer with air brakes, you'll be able to have trailer brake control right here. Now when we get down to here, this is your side lights, your alley lights on the back that we have mounted right in front of the rear axle. This sets the distance. So when you're running your active cruise control and you're going down the freeway, you can set your following distance to different settings. So when you're at the low setting, you're at 2.3 seconds driving distance behind the vehicle in front of you. So as you approach somebody coming on the freeway, it's going to hold that gap at 2.3 seconds apart. If you arrow up, it's now 2.6 seconds, 2.9, 3.2, and 3.5 as the maximum. So when you're at the maximum, it's going to hold you 3.5 seconds driving distance behind the vehicle in front of you. What's really neat is in the event that the vehicle in front of you begins to slow down, it's going to use either the engine exhaust brake or the transmission, or start applying brakes to slow you down to keep you at that right distance. In the event that the vehicle comes to a sudden stop, this thing's going to, through the radar, it's going to begin applying brakes immediately to help slow you down. I'd really like to invite you to watch some of the videos online that we'll be posting about this Detroit system. And this is exclusive to this particular unit. We're alarmed out because the air pressure went down, so I'm going to shut the key off. Another thing that we can talk about here is this is just an extra engine start button. We have a camera selector because we can set this coach up if you want to have a hook a camera inside of your trailer or on the back of your trailer. We can do that here. This is a neat feature that we're doing on the show haulers, or rather that show hauler offers, that we optioned on this. And this is a, well, let me start backwards. So this motorhome has air ride suspension on the back. So there's 4 airbags underneath the back, and they control the ride height of the motorhome. They use leveling valves underneath it. So as you turn a corner, if the chassis starts to lean, the air valve goes down, it starts to add air into that airbag, and it straightens you back out. So what we've always done is installed an air lowering valve. So if you pull into an RV park, and let's just say when you pull in, you're headed slightly downhill, you can deflate the rear airbags, and the rear of the motorhome will drop down. Then when it's time to go, you hit the air inflate button, drive out, motorhome levels off. In some instances, when you want to go down through a dip and you're worried the back of the motorhome might hang up on a dip, you can flip this raise button, and it's going to overinflate the airbags and raise the rear of the coach up to help you get through that dip. So this is just a fantastic feature that we're so excited that Show Hauler is willing to put on these. It'll be optioned on about every show hauler that we ever order from here on out. These 2 buttons are your locking differentials, and I explained this before, that if one of the wheels on the rear differential starts to spin, you can switch this lock, and then it's going to lock them side by side. And this is for the front rear axle. This is for the rear axle. And then this, as I mentioned, this is the air lowering valves. Then as we get over here, we have 12-volt power outlet. Here's your heater controls for floor heat, defroster settings. It's real user-friendly. Obviously, hot and cold right here. Here's your fan selector switch. Here's the rear backup lights, the LED lights on this. This is a light test. This coach is equipped with heated mirrors on it. And then this is your menu control. This is an override in the event that the engine goes into limp mode. Here's your automatic traction control, and then your regeneration, which most people running RVs, we won't have to worry about regeneration. But basically what happens is, as you're driving down the road and the particulate filter underneath starts to get a little bit plugged, the engine will start a regeneration sequence, which will superheat the exhaust and clean it out. And for most people that are driving up and down the freeway, it pretty much takes care of itself fully automatic. For those of you that do a lot of idling, sometimes you have to use the manual regeneration valve or lever, and we'll explain that to you when you buy the coach. There's a lot to talk about on this video. I want to try to stay on track. Another neat feature on this is that this has a backup camera, has side bullet mirrors, so as we turn on the turn signal, the the camera will show the view out the left side. When you put on your right turn signal, it'll turn the view on to the right side. Another neat feature on this coach is equipped with the Bendix blind spot system. So out the passenger door, there's a electronic puck mounted. And anytime anything gets into that area, a red light's going to illuminate over here, and we'll get a close-up with the camera on that. And so if somebody's coming up beside you, it's going to alert, and there'll be an audible tone to let you know that something is in your blind spot. So between the side view mirrors, which are incredible, the blind spot, and the turn signal mirrors, or turn signal camera, we think this is probably the safest coach that we've ever sold. Now as we move along, we have the yellow and red parking brakes. So this yellow button applies the air parking brakes to the coach. The red button you would only use if you have a trailer hooked on. You would push the red button in to release the brakes on the trailer. Now as we move over here, we have a full complement of gauges. We have the air gauges to show how much air is in the tank, transmission temperature, speedometer, oil pressure. Then we have the fuel tank along with the DEF. And for those of you that may not know what DEF is, it stands for diesel exhaust fluid. And what happens is about every third diesel tank that you fill up the tank on this, you'll need to fill up the DEF tank with DEF fluid. And it's injected into the exhaust to help reduce emissions. Then over here we have the RPMs, water temperature, axle temperatures, front and rear axle temperatures, and then we also have an engine oil temperature. So we've equipped this coach with just about every possible gauge we can think of. Now when we go to the steering column, I do want to point out that this steering wheel will tilt, and it'll also telescope. So you can really get this thing into the position that best suits you. Here on the steering column, this particular coach is equipped with a driver's side airbag. Then you have your cruise control on, off. This is your accelerate button, this is your decelerate, and this is your cancel button. Over here you have this plus and minus, and what that does is there's a onboard menu screen here on the dash, and you can arrow through all of the commands. This button is your marker interrupter, and what happens is if you're driving down the road and maybe you go to move over and a semi flashes its lights and says it's okay to move over, and you want to wink your marker lights at them, you can just hit this, blink blink, and you'll thank you. People will flash them like that. So it's just very convenient to be up here. This button right here is your engine exhaust brake. And this coach is equipped, it's hard to see it on here, but this one is equipped with a 3-stage engine brake on it. And when you turn this on, it turns on the engine braking that will help slow the coach down. Over here is the headlamps. Then over here you have the left window, right window, door lock. Then you have your mirror controls here. What I do like about these Cascadias, and this is the exact chassis that I own, is the door handles, the grab handles, everything's easy to get to. I really like the viewing position when you're sitting up here, so I can really see out the hood. The mirrors are in the same position that they would be on most pickups, so it's a very natural feel. It's a very easy transition to go from my pickup to this type of coach. This is an ashtray, and it goes in here, and then you have a drink holder over here. So this coach is equipped with a DD16 engine, which is a 15.8 liter engine. It's 600 horsepower. Currently, it's the largest, most powerful engine on planet Earth that we can order and put in these coaches. It's just a phenomenal power plant. It also comes equipped with the Detroit Virtual Technician, so that subscription comes with it when you buy the coach from us. It includes 2 years of that service. So what happens is if you're driving down the road and you should happen to see a fault code come up, Detroit is going to notify you by text or by email whether or not that fault code needs to be serviced immediately, or whether you can delay it until you get to your next oil change. So it really adds an incredible amount of peace of mind. When I was driving my motorhome down the road, I had a fault code come on. I got a text alert that said it's just an emissions code. You can get it serviced at your next oil change. I've also gone down the road and had, you know, the engine acting a little different. I was able to call Freightliner. They ran an onboard diagnostics to find out that there wasn't anything wrong with the coach. It also has what's called the DT12 transmission, which is a 12-speed automated transmission. And this is where things can be a little bit confusing to a first-time RVer. A lot of people call this an automatic transmission. And I believe the correct term should be automated transmission. So it's a 12-speed manual transmission, and it's shifted completely automated. So as you put this thing in gear, there's no clutch pedal or anything. You just literally put it into drive. And as you step on the gas, it's going to take off in first gear, and then you're going to hear the engine slow down, and you'll feel the transmission shift, and then it goes into the next gear. And then it just progresses up through the gears as if it was an automatic transmission. So the really neat thing about this is you now have 12 automated gear changes in it. So as you're going down the road, it's always keeping the transmission in the optimum gear to get you the best fuel mileage and the maximum amount of performance out of the engine. People that drive this say it's as close to an automatic as they've ever experienced. It's something we're very excited about. I think it's probably, well, I guess it's just something you need to come out and drive and experience, but it's something we're really thrilled to bring in this premier flagship show hauler that we've got. Well, I know I've gone pretty fast through everything. I'm really just trying to, you know, not turn this into a 2-hour video, but give you an understanding of what the 2019 Freightliner Cascadia cab looks like. And I'm excited to continue the tour of this show hauler, so let's go ahead and move on back into the back of the coach. Okay, now that we're in the middle of the coach, I want to talk a little bit about some of the controls. So this coach is equipped with a Oasis hydronic heating, and basically what happens is there's a boiler underneath the coach, and as it gets cooler inside the coach, the boiler comes on and it starts circulating hot glycol throughout the coach. There's radiators in the front, there's radiators in the back bedroom, throughout the coach, and they have them divided into 2 different zones. So what's really neat about it is you can have the temperature in the front of the coach different than in the rear of the coach. So what happens is this hot glycol is being circulated throughout the coach through these radiators, and if the front gets a little cold, then just a little fan comes on behind the radiator and blows heat in the front of the coach. What's neat about this particular system is you can run it off of diesel fuel just by switching the on button, or you can go on electric heat by switching to the electrical button. It also has an engine preheat system on it. So let's say like today, it's a pretty cool fall day. An hour before you want to take off, you can switch the engine preheat on, and it's going to circulate that hot coolant through the engine block and warm the engine up prior to you starting it. Another neat feature about that is when you have this selected and you're driving down the road, the engine heat is now going to be circulating throughout the coach, so you're not running the boiler as you're going down the road. Another thing that this does is it continually supplies hot water to the coach and the shower. And when I say this is a true continuous hot water, it really is. You can get about as much hot water as you would ever want continually circulating through this system. Here's the Xantrex controller. So this is where you would control turning your inverter on and off. This is where your chargers are come on and off. This is your automatic generator start functions, and it's all controlled right here. It may look a little intimidating, but don't worry, we'll have an advantage video for you when you buy this coach so you can go through it step by step, and we're also going to spend a day with you or 2 teaching you how to use all this. This is the floor heat controller right here. So this is where you can control the heat of the floors. Right now we have it set at 75 degrees. This is your heating and cooling control. And then here's all of the light controls right here. Again, it's very intuitive and very easy to use. This controller here is for the solar panels on the roof of this coach. We've equipped this coach with solar panels. So hopefully that helps you understand a little bit about what's going on here. There's quite a bit of technology right here, but it's all very easy to access, and I think Show Hauler's done a good job of their placement of the controls. So this is a 1.5 bath motorhome, and I'm going to go ahead and take you into the mid bath here. It's a little bit hard to film, but we're going to do our absolute best to take you in here. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down here, and I want to talk about the window placement. So we had to have the window placed low, and the reason is so that when you open this cabinet door, the cabinet doesn't hit the wood framing. But the reason we wanted a window in here is that it gives you a nice viewpoint as you're sitting here. As I mentioned, I'm 6 foot tall, and it's just perfect at eye level. You can also crack the window open and close while you're sitting here. We also have a max air vent control up on the roof, so you also have a fan in there. You see all the storage up here. You can also control all of the lights from right here, so there's a lot of thought put into this. This also uses the macerator toilet, which we've talked about before, where it grinds up and emulsifies all of the waste product. Just something we put on about every motorhome we possibly can. Lots of storage under here. This is a huge storage compartment underneath the sink. There's also a smaller tilt-out storage tray here. Full quartz countertop on it with a recessed stainless steel sink, and then a really big medicine cabinet. And it's just I hope you can see on camera the fit and finish of this coach. It's just absolutely beautiful. The crown molding is gorgeous. Lots of storage up inside of here. Again, you know, one of our focus points on this was just storage and storage. I'm going to go ahead and open up the medicine cabinet here so you can see inside of it. Now I'm going to go ahead and move right straight across the hallway and show you the washer and dryer. Now I'm going to show you the washer and dryer combination, and as you can see, we put a stacked washer and dryer in here, so it's just like being at home. Another neat feature that we're able to do on this with the help of Show Hauler is to put dog bowl drinking. So you got your water and your dog food bowls right here in a neat place out of the way. I just thought this was just a really nice feature because I know, you know, my family is very much dog lovers. My son actually went and qualified and went to the Westminster Dog Show. So, you know, dogs are a big part of our life, so I understand the importance of having this, and I was really glad to be able to offer this feature in this coach. A little hard to see, but there's great storage over the top here and over the top of the refrigerator. Whoops. Now we're going to go ahead and move back into the bedroom. All right, here we are in the bedroom, and this is just one of the most gorgeous bedrooms that we've ever designed. As you can see, we have a very large TV in here, and it's an LED smart TV. Have your Sony DVD player right here. We've also pre-installed the DirecTV receiver here, and this is also has the DVR capabilities of it, so you can record your favorite TV shows. Nice, beautiful quartz counter right here so that you can set your wallet and stuff, you know, in the when it's time to go to bed. There's also a plug-in right here so you can charge your cell phone. Lots of storage. I'm not going to open every compartment, but I wanted to show you this compartment where we've installed a safe down here for you. So it's all pre-installed electronic safe. There's storage compartments all across the bottom. Another set of drawers down along the bottom. These, we went ahead and did a cedar lining inside of the closet. As you can see, they're backlit with LED lights on it, so just great his and hers closets. We did a full-length mirror right here, wood trimmed up against the smooth padded walls. Just looks spectacular. Okay, now that we moved up here to the head of the bed, I want to talk about some of the features. Each side of the bed has a 110 outlet and a USB outlet. You know how important that is to us and our customers, so we try to put that on every coach. You also have a nightstand here with a storage compartment under it, and that goes for both sides of the coach. You have a shelf right here on both sides of the bed, as well as light controls, so you can control the lights from both sides of the bed. The window blind in here is also remote control, and that can be controlled right there on a switch. There's also reading lights over each side of the bed, as well as these beautiful storage compartments. You know, the theme earlier when we started this tour was lots and lots of storage, and I think we delivered. Also has a wonderful ceiling fan in the top. And then what's really neat about the way this coach is set up is we have a vent here in the bathroom, so you can open a window at the front. You can pull cool air through the coach in the evening, right through the bathroom and then out the max air vent. So it works out very good. I also mentioned there's speakers in the ceiling, so when you're playing music in the front, you can select to play music here in the bedroom. It just works out fantastic. So enough about the bedroom. Let's go ahead and go into what I think is the most beautiful, well thought out bathroom that we've ever designed in a coach. Well, here we are in the master bathroom of this coach, and it's just spectacular. I keep using them words, but there's just no other way to describe this. We have matching vestibule sinks here, two 110 outlets in the back wall, full quartz countertop on it with backsplash. Here's the large medicine cabinet doors. As you can see, there's lots of room for two people to be in here at the same time if need be. We've got matching towel holders on here. Also, great linen closets in here for lots of storage of towels and linens and things like that. We also have a fold-out tray here, storage underneath the sink, three big slide-out drawers. Again, as you can see, they're all dovetail construction with soft close features. Just a beautifully well-appointed vanity with these gorgeous vessel bowls. You'll also notice we've carried the tile flooring all the way into the back. There's virtually no carpeting at all in this coach, just a little bit up by the driver's compartment. Here we are at the toilet in the back. As you can see, it's a macerator toilet. There's storage compartments behind it, and I'll go ahead and reach in here and open them for you so you can see. There's also an electrical panel back here where the circuit breakers are. In the event that you ever trip a circuit breaker, you have easy access to it. Well, here we are in the tiled shower, and as you can see, there's tons of room in here to move around. We did all of this in a polished tile, did an accent tile in it here. And then if you'll notice in the floor, we went with a river stone on it in the floor to kind of, you know, it kind of helps massage your feet and give you that feel that you're in this beautiful lodge in the middle of Yellowstone, Montana. Also has a nice storage compartment here for your, you know, soaps and stuff like that. Has a really nice shower head on it. As you can see, there's lots of clearance in here. Just a beautifully well-appointed bathroom, and I think when you see this in person, you're going to be completely blown away by it. Well, we're just about through with the tour of this coach. A couple other things that I'd like to point out on it is it has central vacuum, and this is where you would plug the vacuum hose in. And then there's also a sweep point right here, so you can sweep your dirt up here, and you just open this up and it'll suck the dirt out of the way. You know, it was real exciting to hear how you guys like this new video format, and when you leave your comments, we actually do listen, because our goal is to continue to try to educate, you know, RV buyers, especially first-time buyers, and try to really put our heart and soul into making a good video that could really make you an informed purchaser when you come here and you're ready to make an investment of this magnitude. On many people, this is more money than they've spent on their home, and we really truly understand the importance of helping you on this journey to make sure that you're making a very sound and informed decision. As far as the show hauler brand, you know, we just couldn't be more excited to bring this brand to our facility. And we just think the future is so incredibly bright with show hauler that we can hardly contain ourselves. We have several more show haulers inbound. We have them staggered. You know, they're a very small builder, so they don't build a lot of motorhomes each year, but we plan on having about 1 to 2 a month coming over the next 6 to 7 months. So if you're at all interested in learning more about this particular coach or a show hauler, just give us a call. Any one of us would be glad to work with you and spend some time with you. So thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on the road.